And now, this is News 10 Midday.
Good morning to you. Welcome to News 10 Midday for this Tuesday, I should say. I'm Alicia Malaby.
I'm sorry, I wrote Monday. I spaced out. Yeah, I'm Dan Elliott on this Tuesday, and this is what we have lined up for you on today's show. Ophthalmologist Dr. Richard Gutzmacher is here. He's going to give us some eye care tips, and as always, he'll take your calls and questions.
And we're also going to get in the mood for an upcoming sausage festival and Kinderfest. Our guest chef will be making sauerkraut.
First, though, let's take a look at the day's top news stories.
Sacramento authorities are offering a $10,000 reward to track down Nikolai Soltis. The Ukrainian immigrant is suspected of killing his pregnant wife and 4 other relatives yesterday. The suspect's 3-year-old son is believed to be with him. A car belonging to Soltis was found last night in a North Sacramento parking lot. We'll have the latest in the manhunt coming up in our next half hour.
NASCAR releases its final report on Dale Earnhardt's fatal wreck at Daytona. The racing star, of course, died last February in that crash. NASCAR has been criticized for its handling of the investigation. The report says NASCAR plans to form a safety team that would respond to incidents with specialized equipment and training.
The Leonard Fire is burning in Calaveras County, and it's growing. The fire has charred 2,100 acres near San Andreas. Extra firefighters are being called in to fight the flames. Several dozen homes have been evacuated. Firefighters are hoping cooler temperatures will help their efforts.
That's right. Mother Nature's perhaps cooperating. Let's go over to the State Fair where Monica Woods is standing by. She's got the forecast for us, the official State Fair forecast, no less.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, that's kind of neat.
Absolutely.
We're going to get you in there.
I'm here. Here I am. Okay, they just popped up a couple shots from the studio. We are live at the State Fair, though, where things are absolutely gorgeous. We have wonderful conditions, keeping mild with a forecast today. Just a little bit warmer than yesterday, but nonetheless, still mild for this time of year. Let's go ahead and take a look at our weather metrics right now. In Sacramento, we have mild conditions. Temperatures are generally in the 60s, 65 degrees right now in Sacramento. Northwest wind at about 5 miles per hour. A live look outside right now, mostly sunny skies. A little bit of high cloudiness, though, moving through the area. Our tower cam will show pretty clear conditions, though, throughout the area with temperatures generally very mild. Again, temperatures are in the 60s, hopefully. There we go. Right now, Marysville 61 degrees, Roseville at 65, Modesto at 65 as well. Fairfield started off with some low clouds, now starting to see mostly sunny skies, 63 the temperature, and San Francisco at 59 degrees. So we do have some pretty mild conditions. Here's a look at our State Fair forecast. 85 for the afternoon high, slightly warmer for the afternoon with mostly sunny skies. A little bit breezy, but in general, less windy than yesterday afternoon. Well, joining me right now is Amelia Paukert, and you won something last night. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what the competition that you were involved in last night?
I was involved in Champion Challenge, which is a knowledge competition that is just made to figure out what a good spokesperson is for the industry, and there are large scholarships rewarded for whoever.
So how did you get involved with agriculture?
I've been doing poultry since I was about 2 years old.
What could you do at 2 years old?
I had a pet chicken who I carried around all over our farm. We live on a 12-acre farm, so I've been doing exhibition poultry for 8 years now.
And are you from Sacramento, or where do you live?
I'm from Napa.
Great. Okay, well, congratulations to you. So now what do you do for the rest of the year? You just have the title of spokeswoman or whatever?
Yeah.
An exciting thing. Well, it's a big competition, so congratulations to you.
Thank you.
She rushed over here, so thank you for rushing over here at this short notice. Okay, well, we'll have more from the State Fair coming up in just a little bit. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Monica. Common accidents can affect your sight forever, but there are some simple things you can do when your eye is injured that can save your sight and prevent further injury.
And our friend Dr. Richard Gutzmacher, an ophthalmologist, is here today to give us some eye care tips. Give us a call for the doctor. 916 is the area code. 441-1010 is our number. Always nice to see you, doctor.
Good morning. Thank you.
What's a common tip that we should all keep in mind?
Well, you know, most of the serious eye injuries at home would be from chemicals that are already in our house, like underneath the sink, and things like, especially strong chemicals like liquid Drano, liquid plumber. Those are very dangerous chemicals, very strong alkaline. And people that have pools commonly would have muriatic acid. That would be a very dangerous substance. So it's usually a chemical, even a bleach, things like that you might be pulling off the shelf, splash into your eyes.
What should we do if it happens?
Alicia, if you ever get anything bad in your eye, it's going to burn like the dickens. thickens, and what you want to do is immediately rinse your eyes. The most important thing is time, so you want to put your face in the water, open your eyes under the water, even though it's hard to do that. If you're near a pool and you did something, I would jump in the pool. I'd open your eyes in the pool. You want to rinse your eyes with anything that you can to get whatever substance was that was burning your eyes out or diluted.
You say time is critical. What's the time frame we're talking about?
Seconds to minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Really?
It's not really okay to call 911 and wait half an hour. The damage would be done. You want to do it faster than that. So it's mainly, if anything gets in your eye, you can tell right away it's going to burn badly, and then you want to rinse your eyes out as quickly as possible.
We have a caller on the line. Esther, go ahead with your question.
Yes, I have dry eyes. I'm 60 years old, and this was brought upon other illnesses that I've had in the past. And I use the artificial tears. However, they don't seem to be working. I was wondering if there was something else I could use.
Well, there's a lot of other things you can do. There are different types of artificial tears, including preservative-free artificial tears. They come in little multiple-dose.
I wear glasses, but really weak glasses, so I don't wear them very often. And my left eye, sometimes it's just a cloud, and I can't figure out what it is. But it goes away in about 5 seconds, so I was wondering if you knew anything about that.
Well, it's hard to know what that is. That could be a variety of things, and I think it's important. We've talked about this a lot. If you're having an eye problem, then you need to see your eye doctor and have that checked out. There's a whole host of things that could be.
Back to the eye injury question. What can happen, say, if you do have damage from the chemical or whatever? Can you lose your sight entirely or maybe partially lose your vision?
Alicia, it really depends on the substance. So the most dangerous substance would be a strong alkaline solution, something like liquid Drano, liquid plumber. That is a very strong substance that can damage the cornea really within a matter of seconds to minutes. Okay, so the key is to get it out. That's actually more dangerous than an acid. Acids tend not to penetrate quite as quickly, and they're not quite as dangerous, but nonetheless still can be dangerous. There's a lot of treatment that can be done afterwards, but the real key is to try to dilute it as quickly as possible.
Let's go back to the phones. Amber, what's your question?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I was just wondering, like I was telling a guy, I have fairly perfect vision, you know, nearsighted, farsighted, but when I'm driving, it's like my eyes get real watery and I have to focus in, you know, and blink a couple times. So I was wondering if I needed like special glasses just to drive.
How old are you?
I'm 21.
You could be a little bit farsighted, and that's a common complaint for somebody farsighted, because then you have to exert more focusing effort, and under certain circumstances it's more difficult for you to do, and the vision comes and goes. So again, I would have your eyes checked to make sure that there's not, say, a mild farsighted condition that could create that symptom.
You've heard of people talk about night blindness? Is that for real, or?
Well, night blindness is actually there's a serious medical problem called retinitis pigmentosa that causes true night blindness, but where people don't adapt. Like, you know, when you go into a dark room or a dark theater, it takes you a moment to adapt. True night blindness is when somebody does not adapt. They cannot do that, and that's a retinal degeneration. The most common form of that is retinitis pigmentosa, and that's a serious condition. Everybody has a little bit of dark. Very much.
Some good advice.
Hopefully advice we'll never have to use.
Hopefully not.
Thanks a lot,
Thanks.
Doctor. Drugs that are supposed to help the heart could actually cause some serious health problems.
That's why consumer groups are banding together, pushing for warning labels on some cholesterol-reducing drugs. Rhea Blakely has more.
The consumer group Public Citizen says the risk posed by a class of cholesterol-lowering drugs called statins is strong enough that they should bear a high-profile FDA black box warning on the label. The group says the drugs sometimes have a side effect of destroying muscles, and in rare instances, the dead muscle cells can cause kidney failure and death. Earlier this month, Bayer AG voluntarily withdrew its statin drug, Baycol, from the market. It was linked to 31 deaths. Some pharmaceutical competitors are offering former Baycol patients a free month's trial supply, although in full-page newspaper ads, the companies admit muscle problems can occur. Public Citizen says FDA records show an additional 50 deaths have been linked to other statin drugs since October 1997. The rare side effect has symptoms of muscle pain, tenderness, and weakness. More advanced problems include dark urine and fever. In response to Public Citizen's request, a spokesperson for Bristol Myers Squibb, maker of statin drug Pravachol, said more than 10 million patients have received prescriptions for the drug and its safety has been well documented. Statin drugs still on the market include Pravachol, Lipitor from Pfizer, Lescol from Novartis, and Zocor and Mevacor from Merck. Currently, none of them carry the FDA's black box warning. However, Merck's 2 statin drug labels do indicate that you can reduce your risk of muscle problems when you stop taking the medications. Meanwhile, the FDA is only saying that it's reviewing Public Citizen's petition. Rhea Blakely, Washington.
Now, the FDA disputes the number of drug-related deaths. The agency says it can only link 18 deaths to the drugs, but the warning will still be considered.
All of you sausage lovers out there, listen up. The festival celebrating the tasty treat is coming to town, and we've got a guest chef in the studio who's going to be preparing some sauerkraut.
And something more than family history can determine a woman's risk of getting breast cancer.
So listen, what's the weather going to be like for the game today?
Well, we'll start off partly cloudy, about 70 degrees, and then I think...
Hey, Alyssa! What's the chance of a rain delay?
It'll be nice out today!
Hey, listen, is this delta breeze going to affect my swing?
Oh, no, don't worry about that. Welcome to Rayleigh Field. I'm News 10's Chief Meteorologist Alyssa Lynn with your River Cats forecast.
When the River Cats want to know about the weather, they ask Alyssa. News 10's Alyssa Lynn.
All right, let's get our first check of Wall Street as we await word from the Federal Reserve today. The Dow's up 52 points, and the NASDAQ Composite also going north. It's up 8 points. Alicia?
Thank you, Dan. If you're looking for something to do this weekend, you can check out the second annual Sausage and Kinderfest. There's going to be a lot of food, music, and crafts. And today from Eddere's restaurant, we have Eddere Ravazzola. He's going to be preparing sauerkraut for us. Thanks, Eddere, for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having
It smells
me here.
Wonderful. What's the secret to good sauerkraut?
Well, the secret of a good sauerkraut is the way you finish it up, which is a little bit difficult for a lot of people to understand. They always think sauerkraut is just cooked in water and then you eat it like that.
Okay.
But we're making something special. We saute the sauerkraut first in some, not saute, simmer in some water with some bay leaves and some juniper berries for about 8 to 10 minutes.
Okay, I see the
And then in the meantime, I have some butter melting, and that's the trick, the butter and some garlic that we put in the saute pan.
You put a couple cloves of garlic, I
Yeah, about 4 or 5 cloves.
Oh,
You
okay.
can add more if you like to whatever taste you want to have. And then we drain this one here. I do it right in the calendar here.
Drain it. Whoa.
We have to do it a little bit improvise here.
Okay.
So, and while this one, let's move this over. While this one is a little simmering here with the garlic, we add a little flour. And the reason why we add the flour is to dry the sauerkraut.
Okay. Now,
And
did you get the sauerkraut from the can, basically,
I
right?
got it from a can. You can
Okay.
get it from any source, but the main thing is that you need to simmer in some water to get the acid out.
Okay, and then dress it
And
up a
then
little.
dress it up with what really makes the sauerkraut the quality is the butter and the garlic. Now some people use maybe some bacon or some sausages inside, but I do it this way. In fact, this recipe I learned from a lady who was a personal chef of Brigitte Bardot. She told me that
Are you
like
kidding?
25 years ago. And then we add the
So
sauerkraut in
Brigitte
them.
Bardot likes sauerkraut.
Yeah, she liked sauerkraut.
You
Yeah,
learn
it was really
something every
interesting.
day.
Yeah. And we just turn it in and dry it out.
Yeah, you've got bay leaves in there, and then what else?
Juniper berries.
Okay.
And now
Juniper berries.
that butter and that garlic flavor is coated around the
It smells
sauerkraut.
good. Now,
It really
what would
says
you eat this with?
with, of course, sausage and potato salad. And that's why we're here to promote our festival that we have, the second annual festival, Sausage and Children's Festival.
Now, what can people expect if they go to the festival?
Well, sausage and sauerkraut, of course. We have a lot of activity. We have German music. We will have children's activity. We will have a children's parade. We even have a yodeler there. It's a great festival for children, family. It started a year ago by a German man. Unfortunately, he died this year. He passed away, and he was a friend of mine. And we took it over the festival. We want to continue the festival and make it a yearly event. And it will be a lot of fun for the children.
Now, we're showing the flyer here. It's going to be at 3730 Auburn Boulevard. That's at the Croatian American Cultural Center from noon to 6 p.m. this coming Sunday.
That's great.
Wow, some wonderful sausage and sauerkraut and a lot of activities for the kids. It smells wonderful. Can I try it? The most important thing.
You're welcome.
Here's my fork.
Here's the fork.
Oh, wow. And what's going on at Eddere's these days? I know it's a wonderful place to get desserts.
Yeah, a lot of work.
Let me let it cool off. A lot of work?
A lot of work, but we have a good time.
Wow. That is delicious. You can really taste the garlic.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you.
Very good. I know why Bridget Bardot liked this recipe.
She liked it. Yeah, it was first time I learned that about 25 years ago.
Wonderful.
It's really interesting.
Let's show people where they can send off to get a copy of this recipe that Bridget Bardot likes to eat. If you'd like to get a copy, send us a self-addressed stamped envelope to Sauerkraut, care of News 10, P.O. Box 10, Sacramento. The zip code is 95812. Be sure to put sauerkraut on the outside of the envelope, or you can log on to our website, news10.net, to get the recipe there. So the second annual Croatian-American Sausage Festival going on at the Croatian American Cultural Center, Auburn Boulevard, 26th of August, Sunday, noon to 6 p.m. Thank you, Ed Ray, for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having us.
Dan, back to you.
All right, Alicia. Well, we all like to indulge once in a while, but becoming overweight isn't only bad for the heart. It can actually increase the risk of breast cancer. Amy Schaefer explains the correlation between the two.
Weight. It is something most women struggle with their entire lives. Now there's one more reason to watch your weight. Why being overweight causes the tumors to grow so aggressively. That is the next step. In the meantime, it does offer guidance about treating women who are overweight.
Now those women probably should get more aggressive treatment. And when a physician sees a woman who is overweight, who's diagnosed with breast cancer, they might want to consider a more aggressive regimen.
And women should be more aggressive when it comes to their weight. This is one risk factor they can control.
The American Cancer Society recommends a screening mammogram around the age of 40. A mammogram should be performed yearly or every 2 years for women between the ages of 40 to 49, and every year once you hit 50. Women should consult with their physicians about having a mammogram at an earlier age if there's a family history of breast cancer.
Well, lung cancer usually spreads quickly, often lethal, but there may soon be a test that can detect if you're at risk of getting the disease.
A new test in the making detects sugar molecules in a person's saliva. Those molecules are produced by cancer cells, and this would reveal an early sign of cancer. Doctors believe this test can be just as beneficial as a mammogram is for detecting breast cancer.
I think of this as almost like a canary in a coal mine. It's a sentinel. It's a signal that there's something changing and something going wrong.
Lung cancer experts say further testing needs to be conducted first before the true effectiveness can be determined. And you know, we were remiss. We forgot to show the finished product of Eteray. Look at that. That is a German bratwurst. We've also got some German potatoes and a little roll. And you were telling me when you were in Germany, what, you would eat this every day?
No, you know, I was pregnant and I was there during Oktoberfest, so, oh my, I just couldn't indulge in anything.
It tempted you, though. And I know that's very tempting.
This is very tempting. Look at that from Eteray's. Wow, that looks wonderful. Delicious dessert. The sauerkraut was very good.
You like that? Well,
I
you
did
like chocolate. Anything, you could put chocolate on sauerkraut and you'll eat that. I know you. All right.
Well, our economy, of course, has been fighting off a recession.
But will a possible interest rate cut be enough to install consumer confidence? That story when News 10 Midday comes back. This word just in, the Federal Reserve has cut interest rates. This is the 7th cut this year.
Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan cut the rate by a quarter point in an effort to jumpstart our sluggish economy. Analysts fear the economy could be headed toward a recession if the economy doesn't pick up soon. The rate cuts by the Federal Reserve are the most aggressive reductions in nearly 20 years. Well, even with the cut in interest rates, consumers shouldn't expect a quick economic rebound.
As Valerie Morris explains, mortgage rates and credit card rates won't be affected by this latest attempt to boost the economy.
During the last year, the Federal Reserve has cut interest rates 6 times. The aim? To stimulate the economy by making it cheaper for households and businesses to borrow money. Traditionally, lower interest rates give consumers the most help on mortgages and credit card debt. But financial specialists say consumers shouldn't expect much immediate relief. Here's why. Long-term mortgage rates are tied to the Treasury bond market and react in anticipation of Fed policy moves, sometimes up to a year in advance. So as the Fed began aggressively cutting rates last January, the popular 30-year fixed mortgage rate was well on its way to some of the lowest levels in years. David Burson of Fannie Mae says don't expect a dramatic move in mortgage rates after today's expected rate cut.
The impact on fixed rates is likely to be very little, but still, mortgage rates remain extremely low today and low on an historical basis. And so home buyers today are still getting a pretty good deal, even if mortgage rates don't go down when the Fed eases.
And what about credit cards? While traditionally it's consumers with fixed-rate credit cards that miss out when the Fed cuts rates, these days, not even variable-rate card holders are guaranteed any relief. That's because some cards have already reached their rate floors, which are established by credit card companies as protection from interest rate cuts. About a quarter of all variable-rate cards in the U.S. have these lower limits.
On your variable rate card, there is no ceiling. That is, they can charge rates as high as they want to, but there may be a floor. That is, at a certain point, if the cost of money goes way down, those rates will hit a bottom and won't go below it.
Industry observer CardWeb.com says if the Fed continues to lower interest rates, more companies could add rate floors to their cards. Check the fine print to see if yours does. Valerie Morris, New York.
I like this story. It survived the Cold War. It also survived more than 60 years in a deep freeze.
A Hershey's ration bar was discovered under layers of ice at the South Pole. The bar was left behind by Admiral Richard Byrds during his third expedition to the pole in 1937. The test bars were made for the military. It was a way of staving off starvation, but the chocolate tasted more like boiled potatoes in case soldiers were tempted to eat the bar when they weren't supposed to. Yum, yum. The Hershey history has been returned to the company's headquarters in Pennsylvania, where it's on display.
So you think we finally found some chocolate that you wouldn't try, huh?
I guess so.
That's hard to
believe.
believe.
Like potatoes, why bother?
That's your weakness.
Coming up on the second half hour of News 10 Midday, NASCAR is releasing its report into the death of Dale Earnhardt.
Also, the manhunt continues for the man suspected in the killing of 5 family members. We'll have more for you when News 10 Midday comes back.
And now, this is News 10 Midday.
The search is on for a man suspected of killing 5 people. That was the big story yesterday. It continues to be our top story. Welcome back to the second half of News 10 Midday. I'm Dan Elliott.
And I'm Alicia Malaby. The hunt for the man accused of killing 5 family members is now stretching across the country. We'll have more on that in a moment. But first, News 10 has learned of a possible sighting of the suspect. News 10's Deborah Hoffman joins us live at a convenience store in Sacramento. Deborah?
Well, Alicia and Dan, I'm on Hemlock Street, just a few blocks away from where the suspect's vehicle was found. The suspect's vehicle was found at about 10:15 last night. Well, the manager of this Circle K convenience store says that that suspect was in his business at about 10:30 last night. Police are investigating this as a possible lead. The manager of this Circle K says Nikolay Soltis is a regular customer here and routinely shops here at night. He says the Ukrainian immigrant was in the store late last night and that he is on the surveillance tape. He says the police have checked out the tape. Police confirm they are investigating the sighting and have been out here to get the tape, but have not had a chance to look at it yet. If it does check out, it would be the most recent sighting of the man accused of a horrible killing spree. Yesterday, Soltis allegedly stabbed his wife to death in their North Highlands home. Family members say she was pregnant. The horror didn't end there. Soltis is also suspected of murdering 2 children, a 10-year-old boy and 9-year-old girl, and their grandparents. The getaway car was found late last night in this home improvement parking lot. Investigators believe the suspect may still be in the area staying with a friend. Police say there are a lot of Russian immigrants living in this neighborhood. The thought of a mass murderer being nearby has folks like Rebecca Michaele worried.
It's a horrible thing to think of, just all of it. It's scary that my children go outside and play. They're here at school and this man is out running around. So I thought he might have some relatives or friends in the neighborhood, and there are a lot of the Russian people living in the Kohler apartments and in the neighborhood here.
A lot of folks worried in this neighborhood that this man, as police believe, may still be in the area. Now, in fact, I talked to another woman who said last night when she heard all the helicopters outside, she thought it was odd. And then she said a few minutes later she heard a man trying to console a young child. She said a toddler-age child was whining. She didn't go outside. She didn't put 2 and 2 together at the time. She found out later this morning that the man that police are looking for was traveling with a 3-year-old. Now she feels horrible and is calling the police. She thought that that might be the same man. And of course, if that does turn out to be the case, police will investigate that as well. Back to you guys.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Deborah.
Okay.
In the meantime, Sacramento County Sheriff's officials have just wrapped up a press conference about an hour ago giving the very latest on the search for Nikolai Soltis. News 10's Brian May was there for an update. He joins us now with the latest. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Alicia. And you just heard Deborah Hoffman mention that neighbors feel like Nikolai Soltis may still be in the area. That is certainly the feeling that is shared here at the Sheriff's Department as well. While the search for Nikolai Soltis is considered to be nationwide, there is still a strong feeling, at least among here officials at the Sacramento County Sheriff's Department, that he may still be in the area, which is why they are now offering a $10,000 reward in hopes that anyone with information on the missing suspect will come forward. Officials here at the Sheriff's Department say they have received between 30 and 40 phone calls from people in the area who claim to have seen or think they may have seen the missing suspect. Each time they get a tip, they have to quarter off the area and do a full-scale search. So far, there has been no confirmed sighting of Soltis since he last left his mother's house with his 3-year-old son, now nearly 24 hours ago. In addition to the new reward money, officials are also working with representatives of the INS to revoke Nikolai Soltis' passport that would prevent him from traveling outside the United States. In the meantime, the search continues with little new information to go on, including nothing new as to why yesterday's day of rampage took place to begin with.
Nothing. And that's one of the really bizarre aspects of this investigation, quite frankly, is that there is nothing that preceded this. There was nothing that suggested that this was going to occur or that brought this on that we can figure out. We are certainly exploring the possibility that there's mental instability issues there, that there may be drug use issues as well.
In addition to Sergeant Jamie Lewis speaking this morning, there was also a pastor from the local Ukrainian church who got up and spoke as well, and he actually spoke in Russian, making a plea to anyone within the Ukrainian community with information on Nikolai Soltis to come forward. Also, Sheriff's Department's officials just releasing a photograph of the 3-year-old son who may be traveling with this suspect, asking anyone with information again to please step forward. And again, there is now a $10,000 reward, hoping that someone will come forward. Alicia?
Okay, thank you, Brian. And as Brian just said, the Sheriff's Department is announcing a $10,000 reward in the Soltis case. It's hoped the money will help someone come forward with information on the suspect's whereabouts.
This is really a special circumstance.